Hello, welcome to Loki, a map that I really like, other people really like, and some people hate. I know one reason I really like it is because this map structure is so spread out, so it's really all about map control. But this video will have at least one Zock ladder game. I'll see if we can get a couple squeezed in, but I'm not sure by the time. So Zock versus ZLO, that's a classic matchup. So I guess ZLO is talking about practice. Maybe I missed that. So your Cup, of course, is finished. In case people missed, the final was casted by Napalm. Yeah, I don't want to ruin anything, but go to Napalm's channel. If you don't know Napalm's channel, that means you've missed a lot. So whatever. First land from ZLO. And this map, because the trees, there are always weird build orders, and somebody like ZLO, you can always expect him to do some crazy things. It's always strange what how he comes up with it. He never really has a build order. He looks to see what he can see, and then he acts and creates the build order as he goes. Typically difficult. So it's gonna be 4 pigeons with 2 land factories, and the reason you can do this is because of all the manual reclaim on these trees. In case you missed the game, I think it was in the previous video on Loki. Blackheart versus Adjutant on this map, where they did so much manual reclaim on these trees. They both had huge ecos, and one thing we saw from Adjutant, he basically reclaimed the entire map, and I think they gave him a pretty big advantage. The reason I think I'd like to look at ZLO, besides Blackheart, or actually Zock, ZLO is just crazy. It's hard to copy him. Zock is also sort of hard to copy, but I think Zock might be easier to copy. If you really want to copy somebody, go to Blackheart or Pachirico. They usually have very well done build orders that work very well. I think much more defensive than Zock or ZLO. That's why on average I think Zock and ZLO will probably lose against them. Alright, so Hydros. The question on this map is where the ACUs go, and in which order do we get the air factory. So second air from Zock, and it's going to be third air from ZLO. We already see this bomber, so this bomber from Zock is going to have to counteract the superior number of land units early on. Also, if in case you haven't noticed, there's a new channel by some Russian. I guess if you can't understand Russian, it's hard for you, but it's actually extremely good commentary. Yeah, I guess if you know Russian, you definitely need to go check out his channel. I'll put the link in the description. And actually 2 engineers here on the Hydra. Which Hydra will be quicker? So Zock much quicker on the Hydra. Zock has this bomber. Oh, and that could have been really deadly. But good defense from... Is that bomber still alive? It is still alive. Good micro on the NG. Saves that NG. If that bomber would have killed those NGs on the first pass, it would have been a big hole for ZLO. Although you can see here, great use of Aeon Flare plus a floating scout. Knows exactly what's happening. On the other side, you can see a team of engineers trying to get across. These hunters from ZLO will try to deny, and that's really on this map. The first critical expansions are these corners. You can grab that. It's 4 mask structures. It's huge. The other part, which is hard to hold on to, are these mountains. And then these 2 expansions, they kind of fall in depending on how you work the others. See this hunter creating all kinds of problems, but there is also an Aurora, and that's a big advantage to Aeon. They can really take over these corners quickly. Where's the ACU for Zock? So Zock's going to try to take this 3 mask striker expansion, which will secure the bottom corner, no problem. On the top, looks like ZLO is going to have to fight his way against a whole bunch of Auroras. So yeah, unless this hunter can do something. It looks like early advantage is going to Zock. You can see he's got more mass and power. Zock's always got a little less power than you might need. ZLO, yeah, both players very good power balance. In terms of air control, ZLO might actually have it, which would be very good. ZLO is known for his gestures, and actually here is ZLO also known for very quick Tech 2 land, and we're seeing rhinos. No hoplites, rhinos. I think that's always a good call. Also, very quick Tech 2 power generator from ZLO. So ZLO ahead on tech, but not ahead on map control. Maybe I should take that back. We're seeing an Obsidian, no Tech 2 power generator from Zock. Still sitting on Tech 1. Zock runs into a Tech 1 PD. See the Aurora is for the most part missing, hitting all these walls. But yeah, this is much better for Zock on the bottom than for ZLO up on top. Maybe an air fight. This could be a critical air fight. I think if Zock takes air control right now, he's going to for sure win, and that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Provoke enemy air and then turn your back to it and get shot. So this really evens things because, come on, I gotta see the gestures. Now, bombers. And once you see that Tech 2 power generator finished, we'll see what ZLO will do with all that power. ZLO at this point, really power stalling hard. Zock, perfect power balance and just way ahead on eco. But once that Tech 3 PGen is finished, it's so sad for ZLO. He just got that air control. But now, yeah, he's going to spam a whole bunch of air factories. Imagine Tech 2 air. And with a couple gunships or Corsairs or even Jesters, he can erase all these Tech 1 land units. But of course, we already see the Obsidians coming in. And if the Obsidians attack somewhere where their ACU isn't, so if they focus in on this position, it'll be very difficult for ZLO to stop. Meanwhile, this is also a very critical position for Zock. If he can secure it, he's already getting a support Tech 2 factory. So he can get Tech 2 engineers, some Tech 2 PDEs. Get a strong foothold here and put a lot of pressure with his superior Tech 2 force on the bottom. And a couple of Tech 2 flak would be nice. Nice placement on a Tech 2 flak. As we're seeing Rhinos versus Obsidians. And it's numbers for Rhinos, but you can see what happens. Obsidians just don't care, they kill. So much. This is 1,000 masters sitting here. Whoever grabs this gets a free Tech 2 mask extractor upgrade. Zock really in the driving seat here. However, now looking at the mass, ZLO seems to be sort of catching up. He's now at 7,000 reclaim. Zock nearly 5,000. But really, yet another Tech 2 power generator. So what can you possibly do with all that power? And that's one big mistake people often make is when they make their first Tech 2 power generator, they rush the second where they already have a whole bunch of excess power. But in ZLO case, looks like he's actually using it. He is getting the gun. So he's using quite a bit of power there on that upgrade. Of course, once that upgrade's finished, ZLO is going to get a nice boost. And unless you have huge mass income, you really can't use all that mass unless you're just spamming air like crazy. Jesters are out. Zock with a superior position, and that's one thing Zock teaches in his lessons is if you have a superior position, play defensive and upgrade mask extractors, which is what he's doing. He's also actually pretty aggressive here. Tech 3 land, you're going to see Harbies. By 13 minutes, Zock is going to have Harbies with superior map control. That is going to be extremely difficult for ZLO to counteract because yeah, what could he possibly do? He's also getting Tech 3 land. So bricks on paper are better than Harbies, but on a map like this, where map control is so critical, the speed of the Harby really makes it a much better unit, at least early on. Zock, great in good defensive positions in both of these expansions. Tech 2 Raider for Zock. Yeah, the Aeon Tech 2 BD extremely good against high-tech units. ZLO with the gun, thinking about life. So far only one kill. Not a very good investment. Although ZLO appears to be out-teching Zock even with inferior map control. He's got a lot of Tech 2 mask extractors and it looks like he's just continuing to get them. So he is betting on the fact that he's going to tech faster than Zock. Very difficult to do without map control. It looks like a Harby drop coming up from Zock. That's a devastating move if it's successful, although put in a Harvey on a transport that only has 500 health. Yeah, that's a safe move. Both players in eco-hoarding mode here. Very defensive. Definitely advantage to Zock. Zock also has invested heavily into power. He's got multiple Tech 2 power generators, and if you're Aeon, it's really nice to have all that extra power. These Harbs, you can see, minus 25 power to run those shields. ZLO wasting quite a bit of power. Zock also wasting quite a bit of power, but not as much as ZLO. And gunships versus Harb. This is very sad to see. This will force an air fight. You can see the micro on the Harb. He avoided a bunch of those shots, and against the Tech 2 gunships of Cyber, this is actually quite effective. Not nearly as effective against Aeon gunships. And this Tech 2 flak forces the fight away. The fight continues. And I think this Tech 2 flak, the use of Tech 2 flak from Zock, I think is going to win this fight. So Zock is going to have air control. 11 kills. Harp survives. He's also, of course, got the shield. What can ZLO do? He's going to make his trebuchets 25 kills. He will break this defensive position. More shields for Zock. He's going to try to buy as much time as he can. Here the Harb looking at the wall. There are some holes in the wall. The Harb, of course, can reclaim the wall if it needs to. And now that was a loyalist. Another great thing about the Harbs is that they can quickly respond to any kind of threat. And we are seeing very damaged Tech 1 transport. Also some Tech 3 anti-air. I'd love to see how many kills this thing can get against Tech 1 air. Tech 2 air for Zock. Continues to make more and more Tech 2 power. Meanwhile, the trebuchets continue to go to work. I think eventually they will break through. And once they break through and take this, they'll get the reclaim, and that will actually even out map control, except for this assault. And 2 obsidians and a Harvey against a brick. Another brick drop. He needs to drop that off. Otherwise, that's very vulnerable. Yeah, please drop that off. Gunships from Zock going to work against the Tech 2 mask extractors. RD on RD fight. Serenity is fighting back. There are no shields here. Serenity, very high accuracy. You really don't want to take that thing on. So, except Serenity not shooting in the right direction. I think ZLO will break through, even out map control, although he is losing a whole bunch of mask extractors to the gunships of Zock. Gunships continue to go to work. The lack of flak really showing. This is where the gunships, if they can focus in on the trebuchets, it's 800 mass and only 600 or 850 health. By far the best target in this group. Also, the Tech 2 Raider. Raiders are always good targets. Very expensive. Just the Tech 1 Raider is 80 mass and it basically takes no shots to kill. So you continue to suppress enemy Raider. It actually not only suppresses their intel, it costs them a lot of mass and power to rebuild. No cruise missiles yet, unless I missed them. Usually on this map there are cruise missiles in this position. You're seeing some TMD and a spider now from ZLO. This could be interesting. Zock significantly ahead on mass, wasting a whole bunch of power. ZLO, very nice power balance. Because that's one way you can use your power, is to make an experimental. The ratio of power to mass for experimental is significantly higher than just for land units. Of course, now ZLO is going to get all this reclaim and some fresh mask extractors. He'll rebuild a bunch of Tech 1. And Zock actually hasn't upgraded a bunch of these Tech 1s. Does he have any Tech 3s? He's getting his first Tech 3. And looks like the beginnings of a big Tech 3 drop, I'm assuming. Tech 2 transport is being readied as Harvey is beginning to push bricks retreat. The spider is 3/4 done. Once that's done, imagine ZLO will assault through the bottom channel. To get with these bricks, he'll be able to kill anything in this position. The ACU for Zock sitting in the water, and it'll take a lot of harbs. Maybe I don't really know what Zock could do to stop the spider. I wonder if Zock knows about the spider. Not clear that he does. Could be a big surprise, but he has to know that ZLO has been building something. So ZLO is not going to have eco, but he's going to have superior force. Meanwhile, all these Harbies moving away, and this could be a signal that Zock might just give all this up and do a counter push on the top. So meanwhile, the spider will be killing things in the bottom. Zock will go ahead and kill everything through the top, and then with the superior eco, might be able to get GC somewhere in this position as the spider is moving through. Because once you get over 100 mass like that, you can think about getting a pretty quick experimental, especially if you have some reclaim. Spider. So I was guessing the spider's going to go through the bottom. No, the spider's going to go directly to the enemy base. Meanwhile, Harbs being microed, and this is where it's that argument, which unit is better, brick or Harb? And if the Harb is microed like crazy, makes it very, very close. Harbs versus spider. This is actually so many Harbies, unless the spider can sneak in, and I'm sure it's not, it has to be seen. If they get in close, they can kill that spider pretty quickly. But if the spider can kite and kill these one at a time and get a lot of vet very quick. Looks like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Zock will push against the spider. If the spider dies, this game is over. The spider will retreat, and you can see if these go in a single file, they'll all die one at a time. Yeah, Zock just lost a whole bunch of Harbs. At the same time, if ZLO would have just rushed in, he would have been dead for sure. It's a lot of damage per second from such a large group. Good move from ZLO. Get those NGs. Bricks on the other side also putting pressure. We're seeing... okay, so this will be very close. Did ZLO just make a mistake? Did he get too close? I don't think he made a mistake. This is just a very powerful unit. Some vet here. Huge loss for Zock. More Harbs on the way. They need to retreat. Good micro from ZLO. Maybe a couple of mistakes there from Zock. And Zock, he looked much better, I think, this entire game. And he still looks so much better on paper. And I don't see an experimental. Where's the experimental? What can he possibly do against the spider? I don't think he can do much. Maybe Mercies. More Harbies. This is already a veteran, some more bricks being put in. And Zock, #1 player on the ladder. ZLO, #4 player on the ladder. And here you can see extremely close game. Although you can see actually, yeah, more vet. I think this is full vet for that spider. More bricks sent in through the back. And this is where Zock, when he teaches, when you get a superior eco, or you got a certain of an advantage, you just got to tech and play defense. I think that relies on you actually playing defense. If you just tech and you don't make a unit to counter the spider, which in his case could have been a lot more Harbies or a GC. Although a GC might have been difficult. It was actually very close. If that spider made a mistake here with micro, it could have been an easy win for Zock. But instead, great play from ZLO. Hopefully people enjoyed it.